Hello, my dear colleagues. I'm Rabia Eroğlu Kılaç. I'm working at Çukurova University, Department of Family Medicine, and I'm also Vasco da Gama Movement Turkey Image Coordinator. Today our chairperson is Süheyla. Süheyla.
Hello, everyone. I'm Süheyla Atalay Kahraman. I'm a family medicine specialist working in Saltak Family Healthcare Center in Denizli. Today we are very excited about this presentation. I think Rabia will also tell us about Dr. Cemal. Dear Rabia.
Today in our session, Dr. Cemal Kavasoğullari will be our guest. I met him at first. Hello. I met him at first Vasco da Gama Movement pre-congress meeting 2 years ago, and today we are again together. After a year, we worked on a project which founded by Royal College of General Practitioners in Glasgow. Recently, we also applied for an international project on the pandemic process. So he's one of my mentors in my life, and I'm glad to be with him in here. I would like to talk about his education life and working background. Dr. Kavasoğullari graduated from Hacettepe University, Faculty of Medicine in 2008. He has postgraduate certificate in aesthetic medicine from Queen Mary University of London in 2014. After that, he completed GP specialty training in 2017 at National Health Service Education Scotland. Also, he has a Master of Science degree in Digital Health Systems. He worked as RCGP Scottish Council Committee member and Deputy Chair of RCGP Junior International Committee until January 2020. Dr. Kavasoğullari worked at different health centers as GP in UK, and now he's working as accreditation manager at Near East University of Faculty of Health Sciences. Today, the title of his presentation is Why Should Doctors Lead the Way? Leadership Training in Medicine. Our session will take about 30 minutes, and now we will listen to Dr. Cemal Kavasoğullari.
Hello everyone, Rabia, thank you very, very much for this kind introduction, and it is lovely to be back with you. I'm glad to have this opportunity. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, my presentation. Hello everyone again. Once again, it's an honor and pleasure for me to be talking to you all today, and it's literally through this new window. Welcoming you all to my home in Glasgow, and in a way visiting you at yours, wherever you are in the world. I trained as a GP, or some of you may know it as family medicine specialist in Glasgow, and my special areas of interest are digital health, for which I'm doing a master's degree, and leadership, through which I became an associate fellow of the Faculty of Medical Leadership and Management in the UK. In the next 20 minutes or so, I will try to convince you that the concept of leadership is changing, particularly in the healthcare sector. That learning good leadership skills is a must, and that you are all indeed leaders yourselves. When speaking of leadership, it's always the heroic and charismatic types that spring to our minds. People like Napoleon, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs. They're often cited as great leaders and visionaries, and their leadership style is described as charismatic, bold, and at times authoritarian. There are two questions I want you to ask yourselves. First, are these the only qualities that you want in leaders that are managing you right now? And second, would such leaders be suited to today's healthcare systems, where decisions also require empathy and compassion beyond just cost effectiveness or maximizing the profits. So what do the literacy show? Well, leadership research goes back about 100 years. And in this time, almost 50 separate approaches have been named. There's no one-size-fits-all leadership model. And recent studies emphasize a leader's ability to summon different types of leadership styles as an adaptive process to situational requirements rather than assuming a single style. Words like collaborative, compassionate, authentic, servant, values-based are becoming more and more frequently associated with effective leadership. I think there's a issue with my presentation. Yep, back here we are. Always bound to have technical difficulties when you are doing this kind of presentation, isn't it? So our healthcare systems are large behemoths. They're complex, and the change is slow and cumbersome. A mistaken decision-making and strategy can cost lives and not just money. Thus, it is often argued that leaders in healthcare systems should come from within, from the people who have first-hand experience in dealing with life and death situations. However, we don't have any formal training for healthcare professionals on how to lead. It is almost expected that with age and experience, one will naturally grow into a leader. And most positions are acquired eventually if you persist long enough. And this approach is clearly outdated and inadequate. As much as being a natural trait, leadership is also a skill. It is to be learned, applied, and improved upon with research-proven methods. And I'd argue that it must be taught to medical professionals throughout the system. When considering healthcare, we need to take three very important concepts into consideration. First, that leadership happens at every level of healthcare delivery, starting from when a nurse is assessing a patient one-to-one, giving them crucial information on how to tackle diabetes, to making a deal for $1 million national procurement tender. Secondly, if we want to be effective leaders, we need to train co-leaders, people who would help us lead and whom we can delegate responsibilities safely. Finally, we need a different kind of leader attitude. Leaders in healthcare should be collaborative rather than heroic or charismatic leaders. The COVID-19 pandemic became probably the hardest test ever for the leaders of our modern world. And that test, unfortunately, many of them failed. On the good side, some brilliant examples also emerge. And I'll let you decide among speakers that you.
I'm Dr. Akpinar. While you are talking with the leaders of the pandemic, our leader, Professor Dr. Mehmet Ungan, is just connected to Zoom and wish to say his wishes to the Vasco da Gama group. If you let us just a few minutes, he will be on Zoom and then connected to you, and then you may go on. Is it okay for you?
Absolutely fine, yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate for that. Yeah, now the technicians will just connect with the Zoom. Mehmet Ungan will be on air. Just a few moments.
All the time, but I can just tell you that there is another opening. Your brother organization, Euripa, will be having their also conference. So 10 minutes later, I have to join to them. But I just wanted to share with you my best wishes, and I think the conference will be perfectly okay. Maybe you will be in the afternoon together with us in the main auditorium also for the keynotes and for the parallel sessions. I'm pretty sure that you will contribute in a lot. I just wanted to give you some very small hints that we had in the recent days, which you supported a lot also. A lot of colleagues are aware of it. But I think yesterday was the World Safety Day, but the importance of it is this year. It's about the safety of the healthcare workers and health workers. And I think one of the main team member is the family doctor, young or old, or how you feel, it doesn't matter, but just this is very important that you have to protect yourself. You have your government also, you have to remind your government that they should respect, and also they should protect you as much as they can during this fight, because you are all in the front lines. So this is an important day that you are also speaking about the future of the family medicine in Europe. Another one was just a day before, and maybe you have already been in the online sessions of the WHO Europe, and they were very interesting and very encouraging subjects like the vaccination, like the COVID infection, and also the digital world, and the importance of the digital arena in the WHO. This is another hot topic. Everybody is talking about the digital environment and also digital technologies, which are now in our life, like we do now. But also, I can tell you that Europa made a very good statement. If you can just read and discuss about it, they warned us about the consequences of the also digital world and how to. I think we have to discuss how to use it and how to be very careful what we want and what we are really able to apply, and without harming anyone in this arena. So I'm very much happy to be together with you. Cemal, I'm sorry that I just interrupted you. May I give the word to you back? And I wish Ersin and his team, and also the Vasco da Gama colleagues, all of you, a very fruitful conference. I will be together with you in the coming hours, maybe, and in the afternoon for sure.
Thank you so much, Professor Ungan. We are just appreciate your connection and your good wishes. And we can just go on with Cemal. Cemal, in 5 seconds, you will be online. Yeah, thanks so much to all. Yeah, bye.
Welcome back, everyone. It was a very pleasant surprise to see Professor Ungan. As you know, he's the president of World Organization of Family Medicine Associations Europe. And I would like to tell you that when I'm continuing in the presentation and giving you some of the key aspects and attributes of good leaders, I'm happy to say that he is one of those that actually do share all of these values, and is an inspirational leader in himself. So it was a pleasure to see him today joining our presentation. So where were we? The leaders of the world during the pandemic. And my question to you was, I'll let you decide on this slide which ones you thought were successful and which ones you thought they failed the test. Now, to give them the right though, the pandemic tested the world in a very unique way and presented challenges that no one could foresee. There was no strategy that was already made, or there were no scripts we could follow. There was no preparedness, and nobody had drills to practice the lockdown. And the humanitarian toll has been extraordinary. As of today, we are at 950,000 deaths and still counting. Let that number sink in for a second. 950,000 deaths within the last 9 months. And the speed of change we are looking through is incredible. Look at how we all suddenly became digital. How do you think these conditions affect people? Well, here I want to try a little bit of engagement. Let me think of what the world is going through right now. If you have a pen and paper next to you, pick it up. Or if you're on a computer watching, and if you can comment, please do. I want everyone to think of 2 or 3 words for the next 5 seconds. 2 or 3 words to describe the period of COVID pandemic for you. And how might have people felt? What is the emotional landscape that we need to manage right now? Well, there's anxiety, panic, and fear. There's sadness, hopelessness, and perhaps a sense of doom. There's loss of control and feeling disempowered. And certainly, uncertainty. What will the future hold for me? Will I still have my job? Will my family still be around? Empathy and compassion are at the core of the new leadership models. And there's good reason for that. If we look at this emotional landscape and use our empathy to understand what people are feeling and use our compassion to help them resolve it, we arrive at the necessary attributes of a good leader. Let's start with anxiety, panic, and fear. As a leader, we need to be able to promote a state of psychological safety, and trust is the basis of this process. To build trust, we need to understand that it is a complex process. We need credibility that today is mostly shown by accolades that we obtain, such as PhDs and awards. Yet that's only the first step through the door. Our accolades show our professional competence. But from there onwards, we need principles. 3 of the most important principles that foster trust are transparency, fairness, and ability to show empathy. And if you're able to show that you understand what people are going through, be open about your intentions and the processes, and create solutions that are fair, you will have people's trust. To deal with panic, you need a special power, and it's called deliberate calmness. It is the ability to detach yourself from the chaos and allow yourself space to think clearly. When we have sadness and hopelessness, to address this, we need bounded optimism. Bounded optimism is the combination of confidence and realism. As a leader, we need to be realistic about what is happening and what may happen, but show optimism that desirable outcomes can actually be achieved. I'll give an example from the Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte. In his message, he said, "My message to you this evening is not an easy one to hear. The reality is that coronavirus is with us and will remain among us for the time being. There is no easy or quick way out of this very difficult situation." He here outlined the steps the country would have to take. He made it clear that the task ahead was going to be tough. He was realistic about the problem. And he closed with this appeal. With all the uncertainties out there, one thing is absolutely clear. The challenge we face is enormous, and all 17 million of us will have to work together to overcome it. Together, we will get through this difficult period. Take care of each other, and I'm counting on you. The message portrayed an optimistic outcome, and it also did something really, really well. It shared responsibility and it involved its audience in the process. It showed that the leader had a reciprocal trust to the people he was leading. And that's very, very important. Then we have loss of control and feeling disempowered. To remedy the feelings of loss, a good leader must present a vision, a plan, a pathway to a certain destination, which is a unique image of the future that requires strategic thinking and creativity. It is a crucial skill, the ability to empower others. It is the leader's responsibility to provide space and the environment and a framework that enables the team member to flourish and become their best selves. To enable others, we need to be able to build effective networks. And this network should be built from ground up. Each network should be given the authority to make the decisions on their own. So you have to relinquish the immediate response of narrowing down your decision power and making the decisions only from one source. Trust the people in your team. And the role of the leader here is to create the information flow architecture and set the priorities that the network will consider when they are planning their actions, and let them do the rest of the job. And finally, to be able to achieve all of these, a leader must communicate effectively. And we have seen an incredible amount of examples of ineffective communications during the management of COVID pandemic. An effective communication is a bi-directional process. As much as one is able to convey a message, one should also be able to receptive to others and hear others. The message should be clear, consistent in its delivery, and as simple as possible. Updates should be frequent. I would like to mention a particular challenge here, and that is virtual leadership. Professor Ungan mentioned the recent position statement from URAT and how this online world, the new online world, is affecting us. And it is very important to realize that this will be in our lives for a while. So how do you show all of these skills, all of this empathy, all of these qualities over a Zoom meeting? We are not even in the same room anymore with the people that we are supposed to lead. It is very difficult to show empathy. Body language is lost. People can be very easily become invisible. Think about yourself when you just shut the video and put the mute volume on, and then you just disappear into the abyss of the meeting. I'd like to give you some practical advice on this matter. So firstly, remember to start and finish the meetings with a social conversation. Remember that we need to connect in a human way to be able to feel like we belong and to be able to feel like we're a team. Remember that random opportunities of catching up socially, meeting up in a hallway, or sitting down in a cafeteria are taken away. Stick to a regular structure. Make sure the meetings are at the same time of the same day as much as possible. And be prepared. Every meeting needs to have a predefined purpose and a very clear agenda. It is better to meet more frequently but shorter than meeting less frequently but longer. So coming towards the end of my talk, I'd like to provide you a little summary of what we talked about. The leadership landscape is changing from the heroic types to a collaborative type of leadership. Empathy and compassion are core attributes. Vision, trust building, empowerment, and effective communication are key skills. The art of successful leadership lies in the combination of all of these. A well-communicated vision from an actively listening, empowering, and transparent leader creates trust. And that's the crux of the matter that I want to tell you today. If you are in a leadership position, ask yourself this question. Is my leadership making a positive impact on people's lives. Finally, I'd like to show you, if the technicality allows, a little TED Talk, a little video from a TED Talk. It's titled How to Start a Movement. And it will show you, hopefully, that you don't need much to be a leader. And I would like to reiterate the message that you are all leaders, and to start a movement. I'll try to share my screen in the YouTube video. I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear and watch this video. So this is called How to Start a Movement from Derek Sivers.
First, of course, you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes a second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts, 3 is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So, notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So, over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some.
And that's all I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed the talk, and I'd be happy to answer if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cemal, for this inspiring speech. In Turkey, family practitioners do not regularly teletype communication with patients, but in future, I think we will continue with this way, and we should be prepared for that. And thank you for details, for leading us the way. And I think in this platform we are. Thank you, Dr. Cemal, for this inspiring speech. In Turkey, we family practitioners do not regularly video conference examination with the patients, but I think in the future we will continue with that way, and your speech was very useful for also us about that. And our colleague İkbal has just has just joined us. Do you want to introduce yourself, İkbal?
Yes, please. Hi, my name is İkbal Hümay Arman, and I'm deeply sorry to join you late because of my connection problems. I am the Vasco da Gama Turkey campaign policy officer, and I just finished my family medicine training. Now I'm just going to be doing my obligatory services in Istanbul. And thank you for this great presentation, and it was lovely to listen, widening perspective.
On this platform, we are not able to take questions, but I think if anyone wants to ask something, they can write on our WhatsApp group, and I can share with Dr. Cemal if it's okay for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And if anyone wants to contact me for any reason, feel free to do so. My email, my surname, email.com. I should have put it on this slide after talk. but we'd be very happy to see you all and meet you all in real life. Clearly, the digital world is not enough, and medicine especially will always need that special human connection, and no virtual reality and no Zoom room will, I think, has the potential to replace what we have, that special connection that we have our patients. We can use them as useful tools. They bring accessibility, and we can certainly make improvements to our practice using technology, but always remember that it's never a replacement for the caring and compassionate human touch.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And in our group, does anyone have any question, İkbal or Rabia?
So, thank you for your excellent and valuable presentation, Dr. Cemal. You reminded the leader features that should be. I hope we can meet face to face as soon as possible. I wish to be together again, other meetings. Thank you.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.